Recorded.
Good evening. Chair calls to order budget public hearing. The purpose of this public hearing is to hear comments concerning Bill number 20-009, which is the proposed annual budget and appropriation ordinance for Harford County for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021, and also Resolution 013-20 regarding the intent of the County Council to consider a tax rate in excess of the constant yield tax rate as established by Maryland Department of Assessments and Taxation in both the incorporated municipalities and unincorporated areas of the county, and Resolution 014-20, which is the capital program for the fiscal years ending June 30th, 2021 through June 30th, 2026. The council also accepts and will consider written testimony submitted in addition to or in lieu of verbal testimony. The final tax rate will be adopted by the County Council in the legislative session on Tuesday, May 26, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. to be held electronically by the WebEx web conference application and streamed live on Harford Cable Network's YouTube webpage. We are now ready to hear from our first speaker in reference to Resolution 013-20, adoption of property tax rate, Resolution 014-20, fiscal year 21 capital improvement program, and Bill 20-009, annual budget appropriation ordinance.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. This is Council President Vincenti. Could I have your name and address for the record, please?
John Bender, 8 Pleasant Wind Court, Aberdeen, Maryland.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
You want to speak to the budget?
Yes. I am calling as Vice President and Chair of the Building Committee of the Aberdeen Volunteer Fire Department. On behalf of the officers and members of the department, I want to express our sincere thanks and appreciation to both you, President Vincenti, as well as County Executive Barry Glassman and the entire County Council for your collective support over the years for the county's volunteer fire and EMS services. We know it is a challenge for you and will continue to be a challenge for all of us, especially under current circumstances. Please know we very much appreciate the great job you are doing. This year, we respectfully ask for your continued support for the final installment of $500,000 toward the major renovation addition of our main fire station, as recommended in the Harford County Fire and EMS Association's capital funding request. I assure you this funding is very much needed, as we have incurred some unexpected significant expenses. This additional funding will allow us to complete the project on schedule by this November, and you will all be invited to our ribbon cutting ceremony along with the public. We believe you and the Harford County community we all serve will be very pleased and proud of the finished product. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bender. Appreciate your comments.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Milano.
Good evening, sir. It's Council President Vincenti. Could I have your name and address for the record, please?
Oh, yes, sir. This is John P. Milano, 2402 Eagleview Drive, and good evening to you.
Good evening, sir.
The 2021 budget looks very much like an election year budget, full of favors given to ingratiate elected officials to the voting public. The county auditor's review is interesting, and it points out multiple areas where the budget should be reduced to more closely align with expenditures. Projected savings are $5 million. That reduction could be used to reduce the property tax rate by approximately 2 cents per $100 of assessed value. Reviewing the 2021 budget, it is obvious that the cost will not become fully apparent until years beyond 2022 as revenues are impacted by events outside the county's control. To sustain the level of funding in the 2021 budget, the county must have steady revenue streams that grow in the next 5 years at a higher rate than is projected for 2021. The county cannot count on one-year revenues or temporary revenues to sustain its expenditures. The Federal Tax Cut and Jobs Act discouraged and all but eliminated itemized deductions on individual tax returns. In Maryland, individuals who do not itemize on their federal return cannot itemize on their state return. The result is higher taxable income, not real wage growth, with additional revenues, but only on a temporary basis. The act expires in 2025. 2021 budget uses $56 million from the fund balance. That money represents a surplus from previous budget years. Money that was budgeted was not used, and more importantly, was not necessary for its intended purposes. Those budgets could have been reduced by the surplus funds and the tax rate reduced when the surplus first accrued or in the years it accumulated. The consequences of using the surplus funds, one-year money in this budget year, is that county revenues must increase by at least $56 million plus a growth factor in 2022 to sustain the level of expenditure in the 2021 budget. This may be accomplished with real economic growth or by increasing the tax rate. The alternative would be to reduce expenditures by cutting programs and services. Two of these solutions are undesirable. There's a lingering reality with the COVID-19 episode that recovery may not be as quick as projected in the county. Very small businesses may not recover at all. There are startup costs, and employees may elect to stay on unemployment benefits rather than return to work. There's a psychological factor too. People may adopt a bunker mentality and just stay home. The unknown factors are the effects of the upcoming elections and state budgetary actions. There's a very real possibility that the results of the elections will drastically change spending priorities at the national level. Defense spending could be reduced, impacting the county's largest employer. At the state level, it is possible that the state may shift the burden of funding back to the counties. While it may seem contradictory to propose tax cuts amid the uncertainty of revenues, any process that promotes budget surpluses overtaxes residents is
Mr. Milano,
intolerable.
please bring your comments to a close, sir.
Could I just finish this one sentence?
Your time is just about up, real quick.
All right. I would appreciate it if you would undertake the task of reviewing this budget to align it with the fiscal and financial realities of the county and its taxpayers, the needs of those taxpayers, and not the political ambitions of its elected officials. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
We'll come back to him. Just keep going.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. This is Council President Vincenti. May I have your name and address for the record?
Yes, this is Aaron Penman, President of the Harford County Deputy Sheriff's Union, representing 300 sworn law enforcement deputies. Address is P.O. Box 881 in Bel Air, Maryland. Thank you, President Vincenti and the members of the council for providing the opportunity to speak on behalf of the deputies during this sacred week of remembrance, National Police Week, honoring those who serve and those heroes that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Council members, I'm excited to announce my support for this year's proposed budget, which includes the final phase of this wage package. I should note this wage package was phased in over 3 years. With this final implementation, the Harford County Sheriff's Office now has a competitive salary that not only properly compensates these brave men and women, but also competes for the best and the brightest seeking career in law enforcement. I would be remiss if I didn't thank two people in particular that have helped develop this wage package and implement it. The first is Sheriff Gaylor, who has made deputy salaries one of the main priorities. Without Sheriff Gaylor's emphasis on properly compensating his agency members, I'm not sure we get here to finally finish this salary package. The sheriff has worked hand in hand with the union on this wage package, among other matters such as COVID-19 protocols and working conditions, and his partnership is appreciated. I would also like to thank County Executive Barry Glassman for his continued support for the Harford County deputies. From the perspective of the Deputy Sheriff's Union, the county executive's conservative and responsible budget has allowed Harford County to be in a unique situation. At a time when many jurisdictions are discussing furloughs and pay cuts, the county executive has us in a position to continue funding all major budget requests, which I'm sure makes the council happy, not facing angry community members. This impressive aspect is the county executive has done without ever having to raise property taxes or income taxes. In closing, I again thank you all for your time and attention and ask the entire county council to vote favorably in support of the submitted county budget, making no adjustments of the proposed budget or any county revenue that would negatively affect this last phase of the deputy's wage package. I thank you all and have a great night.
Thank you for your comments and thank you for your service. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. This is Council President Vincenti. May I have your name and address for the record?
Michael Curry, 1409 Bassett Court, Bel Air, Maryland, speaking on behalf of the Harford County Education Association Government Relations Committee.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Council President Vincenti and members of the County Council. Tonight, the committee is commenting on the proposed county budget. We would like to express our thanks to the county executive for fully funding the operational budget for the Harford County Public Schools as requested. We are asking the council to accept this proposal without modification and fully fund Harford County Public Schools for the first time in many, many years. The employees of HCPS and the voting public are pleased that we are asking you to approve the budget as proposed by the county executive. Given the current pandemic, the necessity of fully funding local school systems has become an even greater priority. While we are grateful for the current budget proposal, we will continue to advocate on behalf of our students, schools, and educators with both you and the county executive for continuing financial support of HCPS. This continued support will be especially critical in the future. HCPS needs to upgrade both acquisitions of technology devices and platforms to support online and distant learning programs that may be required in the future. At the same time, the system needs the ability to restore previously cut classroom positions and programs. We hope that all of you and your families are continuing to be safe and well and appreciate your support of HCPS and the budget. Thank you. Lee Bondrel, Cindy Coper, Josie Cosgrove, Yvonne Waters, Michael Curry, Chairman, Harford County Education Association Government Relations Committee. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir, for your comments.
Greg Pezzulo.
Good evening, sir. It's Council President Vincenti. May I have your name and address for the record, please?
Greg Pezzulo, Director of Visit Harford, 115 North Main Street in Bel Air.
Good evening. We're ready to hear your comments.
Council President Vincenti, council members, I am calling regarding the fiscal 21 budget. I am Visit Harford. We are fully supportive of the budget as submitted. We are, tourism. It seems like I was just in front of you. So I think that might have been the last public meeting you had in early March. We talked about the economic impact of tourism, $392 million in economic impact from tourism in 2018. That's the last survey we have. We are working on putting together the 2019 survey. I will tell you that for every dollar spent in tourism that is spent in marketing tourism, $31 comes back to the state. County Executive Barry Glassman has done a great job putting together a budget. These are difficult times. And I also give you credit for taking a look at this budget in these difficult times and planning ahead. We need to continue to market. We need to start up that economic engine as soon as we can. We are poised and ready to start marketing Harford County, not only within Maryland, but in the Mid-Atlantic. So if you could fully fund that budget, we can get started. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Good evening, sir.
Hello, this is Christie.
Good evening, ma'am. It's Council President Vincenti. Could you state
Hello.
your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, my name is Christie Crawford Smith, and I'm president of the Harford County Education Association. We are located at 2107 Floral Bush Road, Bel Air, Maryland.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to speak this evening. During this challenging economic time, we would like to thank County Executive Glassman for recommending to fully fund the school district's operational budget. I am here once again to urge the members of the council to approve that recommendation, which would allow HCPS to restore some teaching positions, compensate for an increase in student enrollment, and purchase much needed technology. I'm confident when I say that this is the first time in decades that HCPS would potentially ever be fully funded. I do want to point out that there is still a lot of work to be done to ensure that class sizes are capped at an appropriate number, but this budget will allow HCPS to make movement in the right direction. In addition, we are happy to report that this budget will also provide 637 educators, which is nearly 22% of the teachers in Harford County, the final makeup step from the missteps during the recession. After many years, HCPS educators will finally have their salary steps restored, and that is cause for celebration. Harford County has amazing educators, and we thank you for making their needs a priority. Although the capital request is not fully funded, given the current economic situation, it is evident that Mr. Glassman carefully analyzed the request and the most pressing needs were funded. Collaboration and long-term planning will need to continue to ensure that all of the capital needs in this school district are addressed in the future. In addition, we are aware that the council and the county executive are working to fix the internet issues that plague Harford County communities. HCEA is willing to help with any advocacy and lobbying efforts that may be necessary. Please let us know how we can partner with you. Finally, I would like to thank the members of the council for your continued support. In this uncertain time, we appreciate knowing that the school district will have the funding necessary to move forward, and that our students are the most important asset in this county, and we thank you for making them a priority.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your comments.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye. Hello.
Good evening, ma'am. This is Council President Vincenti. May I have your name and address for the record?
Yes, Crystal Russo, and 700 Heston Court, Bel Air, Maryland.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. I am a Harford County Public Schools educator, and I have thanked our county executive, and I want to encourage the council also to fully fund the Harford County Public Schools operational budget. I've interacted with various members, council members over the past year, and your actions demonstrate your support. So I just wanted to call and say thank you for listening. Thank you for engaging with educators. Fully funding the budget is a demonstration of trust, and it's encouraging as a citizen and as an educator to be able to focus on moving forward. So we appreciate your work with the budget and all of your responsibilities, especially during this time with COVID changes and challenges. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your comments, and have a good night.
You too.
Hello.
Good evening, ma'am. This is Council President Vincenti. May I have your name and address for the record, please?
Bernal, 2914 Goat Hill Road, Bel Air, Maryland.
Thank you, ma'am. You want to go ahead with your comments?
Yes, I just wanted to say that I'm a mom to 4 children in the Harford County area, and I just wanted to say that I support fully funding the school system. 3 of my children are in the typical classrooms, and my son is in the Strive program, and I just fully support all that the teachers are doing for my children, and the extra funds would go a long way. So just fully fund the schools. That'd be great.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your comments.
Thanks.
Good night.
Hello.
Good evening, ma'am. This is Council President Vincenti. May I have your name and address for the record, please?
Yes. Jean Smith, 404 Chadford Court, Bel Air, Maryland.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, President Vincenti and council members. President Vincenti, I hadn't planned on speaking tonight about the budget for 2021. But after reading the article in the Aegis about your disappointment at the lack of public comment, I felt compelled to do so. Why hadn't I planned on speaking? Because I didn't need to try and persuade the County Council to fully fund the Board of Education's request. Mr. Glassman is fully funding the board's request, and I must admit I am very pleasantly surprised. The Council's past voting record has a history of the majority supporting the county executive. However, I shouldn't take that for granted, and due to that, I am glad you jolted me into addressing the council tonight. My only comment is to please adopt Mr. Glassman's 2021 budget to fully fund the Board of Education's request. Our students, teachers, administrative, and support staff dearly need it, even more so during and after this pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith, for calling. I'm glad I pushed you to make the call. It's always a pleasure to hear from you.
Okay.
Take care. Have a good night.
You too.
Yes.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. This is Council President Vincenti. May I have your name and address for the record?
My name is Ryan Bertie. My address is 15 Rigdon Road, Aberdeen, Maryland, 21001.
Very good. Want to go ahead with your comments, sir?
Sure. Council members, Council President Vincenti, it's fortunate to be able to talk to you this evening. Talking over the phone is weird, but it's easier than coming to Bel Air. I wanted to, first of all, encourage you all to pass the Glassman budget as printed, basically, for the first time ever, I think. public schools are fully funded in Harford County, and that's a project we've been working on for over a decade since I've been working here. So I think this is a real opportunity to actually move forward with our schools. The other thing I wanted to say is, sorry that more folks weren't out when the first meeting was. I think that when you're doing the right thing, folks tend to not come out as much. And when you do the wrong thing, you tend to get deluges of people. So, finally we're at the point where, we're all in a good place and we're doing the right thing. We've just got to invest in our future. The times are tough now, but we've got to invest for when we come on the other side of this, and we've got to meet the needs of our kids. So thank you guys for your service and for your time and for taking care of the things that need to get done.
Thank you, Mr.
Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Bertie, for your comments. Always appreciate hearing from you. Good night.
You all take care.
Good night. Bye. Ms. Dixon, is there anyone else signed up?
We do not have anyone else signed up, Mr. President.
And I believe this will conclude the May 14th, 2020 public hearing. Good night.